Hello and welcome to my channel. I am Emma in Elementary and I am very excited for us to get into how to classroom management. This is a very important topic. It very well might be one of the most important topics that I cover on my channel because it is one of the main stressors in a teacher's life, if not the main stressor. If you are struggling, know that you're not alone. We are going to tackle this together. In this video, I'm going to share some of the classroom management strategies and tools that I use and share tips for a healthy classroom for everyone involved. When you hear someone talk about classroom management or behaviors, you might have that one student pop into your head. We are going to dive into what you need to do from the beginning to create a classroom environment with minimal behavior issues and what you should continuously be doing throughout the year. I have lots of great tips and resources to share with you today. We have a lot to get into, so let's get it started. Classroom management begins with your expectations laid out for students. What are their procedures for arrival and dismissal? What is their routine for when they transition? How do they go about asking for a new pencil or to go to the bathroom or to get some water? The list goes on. If students do not understand what you expect them to do, don't assume that they will automatically do it. You need to explicitly teach your routines and procedures, and usually after 2 to 3 weeks, your class should, for the most part, be able to live up to those expectations that you set in place. Here are a few things that you can do to teach and review your expectations with students. First, present them in a slideshow. These are some examples of what I show in my presentation to the class, and this template is from Canva. You can model how things should look versus how they shouldn't look. And on top of that, you can give students scenarios and ask them what should they do in that situation. You can play a Jeopardy game to review, which is so fun. You can give a pop quiz, which is something that I do. You can play a Kahoot or Book It if they have computers yet. I also recommend laying out your expectations to parents. When parents are talking about your expectations at home with your students, they will likely be more inclined to follow them in the classroom because they know you're in contact with their parents and they know that their parents know how they should be behaving in your class. If you need more guidance in setting your routines and procedures, on my TPT, M&LMN, there is a first-year teacher starter pack bundle, and it comes with various resources at a discounted price, but it also comes with a free bonus resource that is an in-depth list of all routines and procedures that you should be thinking about and putting in place. Once you have explicitly taught your students the expectations that they should be following, you need to then hold them accountable for their behaviors and choices. You'll want to come up with positive and negative consequences. I feel like when people hear the word consequence, they automatically think negative, this is a bad thing. But it's both. And they should start small and then be built upon as you continue to either praise or redirect their behaviors. I learned once at an amazing teaching conference to focus your energy toward the positive behavior, not the negative. These are a few examples of things that I use in my own classroom. The slide that you see in the top left corner is part of a full set of daily slides on my TPT that you can edit and use in your classroom. And you'll see more of those examples of slides throughout the video. Happy Mail is something that I send home as a reward when students are showing good behavior. The think sheet in the middle is also on my TPT. And that just is a way to get them to hold themselves accountable and have their parent review what they've done and sign it. And then, of course, I do Class Dojo rewards, as you can see as well. If you take anything away from this video, take away this. Follow through. Do not give empty threats to your students. If you say a student is going to lose a dojo point, take it away. If you say, next time you're getting written up, write them up next time. Follow through with your promises. You should never say that you're going to do something that doesn't happen, especially when it comes to managing behaviors. Students will quickly learn that you aren't serious and that they can get away with things. Do not let them take advantage. They need to take accountability, and it needs to be enforced by you. Your seating arrangements are also a big factor in classroom management. We're going to talk through each of these seating arrangements that you see here, and you can decide which one works best for you. Traditional seating, for me, takes up a lot of space and does not work for my ADHD type A brain. Students will still be whispering to each other and passing notes, but they will be in their own little world, which is especially nice for older students. Roundtable seating is best for things like Socratic seminars. In my experience, students don't typically like sitting this way, and it should not be used every day. You don't want them getting distracted by who's sitting across from them either. The horseshoe or semicircle seating is great for controlling what happens in your classroom. The double horseshoe as well. These are just effective for ensuring that every student is facing you still in the traditional way, but is also in a more controlled, organized space that you can walk through. Group pods is how I arrange the seating in my classroom. It leaves the most space for you to walk around and give students opportunities for teamwork. This is especially good for younger grades, of course. My only suggestion with groups is to switch them regularly because the students can get pretty tired of each other after they've been sitting there long enough. And you do need to set group expectations because you do not want them thinking that they can just talk all day because they're sitting in a group. And finally, the pair pods is another seating arrangement that I've used, usually towards testing season. And it's nice because students can still be in their own little world for the most part, and you can have certain students sit alone if they need it, and it still leaves a lot of space in the classroom for you to walk around. Going back to accountability, if your school has some sort of behavior matrix, take advantage of that. Put it on display in your classroom and create some kind of mantra that the students can see and read every day. This is the mantra that I have created based on my school's behavior matrix. Each morning we read it aloud. I read the words in black and they read the colorful words. It's important to enforce your school's expectations as well as your own. You represent the school and so do your students. As I've shared before, I'm not a fan of using the word rules in my classroom, so we create a class contract. I give students time to brainstorm what expectations everyone should be following, including me, and they get to share out, and I add them to our contract, which everyone signs, and I hang it up on the wall. I find that when students create their own expectations, they are more inclined to follow them because it isn't just a list of things that I told them they have to do. They are telling themselves those things and promising to follow them with their signature. When I notice that a student is showing negative behavior or making a bad choice, I first remind them that they're breaking their contract that they signed before I give them a verbal warning. And this kind of gives them an extra chance to get it together and to think about their actions in an easy, non-threatening way. However you display your rules in your classroom, whether you do the contract method or not, it is important that you keep them short and concise and that you do not have more than 5 things on there. Otherwise, students just won't take the time to pay them any attention, much less to follow them. If you've watched my How to First Days of School video, then you have seen this specific resource before. This is a fun beginning of the year read aloud that teaches students about how frustrating it is to be interrupted. I created these tallies as a classroom management tool that I use in my classroom. After I do the read aloud, each student gets these tallies put on their desk, and they get a tally every time they call out or interrupt. If they get 0 tallies during the week, they get a dojo point. If they get all 10 filled in, they lose a dojo point. And these tallies are available on my TPT as well for you. It's important to understand the line between being nice to your students and being a leader. Your job is not just to teach them, it is also to keep them safe. Do not get caught up in feeling guilty because you think that they won't like you if you manage their behaviors. Students actually respect you more when you are calling out their peers, and your students will still like you even though you need to manage them and keep them under control. They want to be in a controlled environment. They don't want to feel like everything is crazy and off the rails. Trust me. You don't want to be overpowering or overly sarcastic or embarrass them, but you don't want to be so kind that they prey on that. You are not their friend. You are their teacher. This doesn't mean that you can't be friendly, but it does mean that you shouldn't be besties and let them get away with things. I also want to quickly talk about showing favoritism. I can admit, as a teacher and someone that has worked with many different groups and classes of students, there are favorites. We know this is true. But do not ever, for 1 second, show favoritism. If a student can tell that you are letting them get away with things regularly, they will take advantage of that. And on the flip side, if a student can see that they are being treated differently and getting in trouble for things that you let others get away with, they are likely to retaliate. When you begin to notice patterns with certain students, you'll want to start documenting their behavior. This is the template that I have created and is available and editable on my TPT for free. Document everything, big or small. You should be taking note of the number of incidents, the date and time that it occurred, a description of what the student did, and what action you took in response. It is really important to have this data so that you can present it to your MTSS team, and in case the student needs a BIP or 504 plan created, you'll have this. And this is also useful if you have parents that give you a hard time about their child's behaviors, which is bound to happen. Document everything. It's also important to know that you can reach out for support when you need it. You are not the only person that needs to deal with difficult behaviors. Reach out for help far and wide and do not give up on that. Something else that I learned at a teaching conference is that you teach who your feet face. Do not turn your back or your attention away from your students for more than a few seconds. Have your feet face your class. This is something that I am constantly reminding myself of when I'm in the classroom and teaching. Always give them your attention, even when they don't notice that you're paying attention. You can't help what students come into your class each year, or what backgrounds they come from, or what homes and families they go home to every day. You will see struggling, troubled students, lots of them, that need someone there to support them. Give them grace and give yourself peace. Do not get so overwhelmed in the behaviors of one or two students when you have so many great students in your classroom. In the beginning of my first year, I literally lost sleep over stressing about one of my students' behaviors. It is so not worth it. You can only do your best, and that is enough. It should not take everything out of you. I know that this was all a lot of information, and I hope that you were able to take something away from this and apply it to your classroom. That is everything that I have for you in how to classroom management, and I can't wait to see you in the next video.